Hi, I'm Luke Quillen, and this is Olivia, and I'm running for the South Carolina House of Representatives. And for some of you who may not know what that means, let me explain. As you're probably aware, the federal government is comprised of three branches: the executive branch, our president; the judicial branch, our court system; and the legislative branch, Congress. And all three of these branches have their own respective responsibilities and powers given to them by the Constitution. Well, each of the 50 states that comprise our union have their own state governments that govern various other aspects of its citizens' lives. And these state governments were designed largely on the same template as the federal government, each with their own executive, judicial, and legislative branches, which in South Carolina is a Congress comprised of two factions: the upper faction, the Senate, and the lower faction, the House, whose jobs it is to collectively construct state laws and policy. And that's what I'd like to do, and I think I have some pretty good ideas on how I can make a positive difference this way. But first, a little bit about me. Why do I think I can do this? What makes me qualified? The short answer is nothing. A lot of politicians love to play with this version of themselves, this persona wherein they're portrayed as almost a savior figure for their constituents, this knight in shining armor ready to fight for their district against the powers that be, in a very hostile way, and you see this to be especially true in state politics, with ads like this playing constantly every election cycle.
My forefather used a cannon like this to fight the British in Savannah and win us a Constitution. As the only licensed firearms dealer in America running for Congress, I'm willing to do the same if we have to. But it's a whole lot easier just to vote in new House Republican leaders who'll simply stand up to Obama and defend our Constitution. That's why I'm the only candidate in this race who's pledged to do just that. But I need your vote to make it happen. I'm John Stone, and I approve this message.
And I think this mentality and pushing that image of politicians is not only disingenuous to voters, but is also fundamentally wrong. It progresses the narrative that success, both at a personal and regional level within the confines of a state and country, is a zero-sum game, when it is patently not. And so I want to be clear that I am not that. Besides writing my name down to run when no one else did, I'm not special in any way. I wait tables. I'm a student, a single father. I'm someone who was born and has lived most of his life here in Spartanburg. My dad was a pastor and a missionary, my mother a nurse. So I'm not a prodigy. I am young and there are people supporting me, yes, but I'm no different than you. And we largely want the same thing. We want a better future for us, for our children. We want them to grow up in a safer, cleaner, and more prosperous society than we did. But a lot of us in the upstate, and in South Carolina as a whole, are struggling to see a path to how we get there right now. We see and feel infrastructure that's meant to support us and our economic growth as people collapsing beneath us. We are in the throes of failed and disproven fiscal policy that takes power and freedom away from us. And meanwhile, organizations that do not have the best interests of our citizens in mind are having an untold influence on the statewide policies that govern us. I have a vision for the future of this district that doesn't involve them. I have a vision for South Carolina where public opinion actually influences public policy. A vision for an economic future for our state that doesn't hinge on how much we can bribe a company to come here through tax cuts, but instead is founded in the investments and effort we in government can make to have the most talented, highly trained, and highly educated workforces in the world, with a viable and world-class infrastructure that together will make our climate for business one of the best in the world. A climate that facilitates growth not just for the companies themselves, but for their workers as well. A climate where workers at all levels reap the benefits of progress, are dignified in their wages, and are free to become educated and work in the sectors they are passionate about. The great innovator Henry Ford once said, "If you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got." And I think this is especially relevant in the upstate right now. So I want you to ask yourself before you cast your vote for State House this November, who do you think is going to bring you the change you want? I'm Luke Quillen, and I hope you vote for me. And if you do, I can promise that I'll try to make our community a safer, cleaner, and more prosperous place for us and our children. Thank you very much.